Mute the mic. I think we're live. Welcome everybody. I'm Sherlock Holmes, and in this live stream we are going to talk all about beginning to build coils. So if you're somebody who's in the beginning and wants to ask any kind of questions, that's the premise of this live stream. Now I have two special guests with me tonight. I have Big Country and I have Gentleman's E-Liquid, and both of their channels are linked in the description. And so as a part of this whole concept we're doing tonight, they're going to be asking me questions because both of them are about to start their journey into building. And so we were actually on Zoom and they were asking me some questions, and we were planning on going live, so I figured that would be a great topic for this. So if you are watching live, any questions that you have at all, drop them in the chat and we will answer, or I will answer your questions. And do you guys mind if I use your real names? Just easier for me. All right, so Isaiah is Gentleman's E-Liquid and Larry is Big Country. So they're going to be asking me questions and we're going to have a good old time. And in the interim, like throughout, I'm going to be building some alien frame staples. So, Big Country, why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody where they can find you, Instagram, all that fun stuff.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Big Country here. Welcome to Sherlock Holmes, man. Awesome. Kenny brings us on here and just going to try to pump me up and embarrass me like he always does. But yeah, I got a little channel. I got a goal going on right now. I'm almost at 500 subscribers. My birthday is July 12th. Been pushing that for the past couple of weeks. The channel's pretty much doubled in size since I started this push, and we're getting really, really close. So 11 days, man. Channel is youtube.com/countryliving. That's all one word, no G, L-I-V-I-N, Country Living. Instagram, countryliving77. That's where you can find me on anything.
All right, right on. Thanks for coming on. And we have Isaiah with Gentleman's E-Liquid. Tell us a little bit about your channel and what you do.
Well, my channel kind of revolves around mixing and few reviews here and there. I kind of just mess around and mix stuff up and come up with crazy concoctions. And my Instagram is also Gentleman's E-Liquid. And yeah, that's all I really do.
And
Just
you
mix up
are old
crazy
enough to vape, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I always
good.
get that question.
He's a young one. He's young, but he's legal.
All right,
I'm a
so
youngin'.
thank you everybody for tuning in, and thank you for anybody who is watching the replay. Now, I am, as I said, I'm going to be doing some alien framed staples, so I'm going to be prepping some ribbon wire and then some 26 gauge for the frames, and doing that as we go along. I see some familiar names in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. We got Vape Heads, Aaron, Chris Bridges. What's going on, buddy? We got Deb in the house, Danny. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. So let's jump right in with the question that Larry had asked me before we got on air here. And his question, I'm going to paraphrase here, was, what do I do if I have a small penis? And to that I said, you're shit out of luck. But so his second question...
My nickname IRL is Tiny. I just tell everybody the next girlfriend gave it to me.
And that's not non-ironic. So his second question was, what's with like the different types of wire? And he hears of people using different types of wire, like nichrome cores, kanthal outer wraps, and like why? Like why would you use some wire as opposed to other? And that was a great question, and I'd never thought of that question before, because when I started building, it was all about exposure. Like I was exposed to kanthal and nichrome, and I just kind of never looked back, and I never really investigated any other types of wire. But where I'm at now today, I build with purpose. Like the materials I use are for a purpose. And for instance, for cores, if I'm shooting for something that ohms really low and heats up quickly, I'm going to use nichrome or stainless steel because it's a lot hotter than kanthal is. And if I'm shooting for a series build, or if I just don't want a really, really fast ramp up time, I'll go with kanthal. Now, as far as the outer wire is concerned, if you're doing a 32 or a 30 gauge Clapton, like a Clapton 30 gauge or 32 outer wrap, then that's where it's going to make a little bit of difference with what you use, because at the the lower gauge, the 30 or the 32, the diameter of the wire, because it's bigger, is actually going to be a factor as to where your resistance, your ohms, end up at the end of the build. When you're working with like 34, 36, 40, it's such a small diameter wire that it's not really going to affect the overall resistance of the coil. So at that point, it's a matter of either aesthetics or like longevity of the material. Like kanthal will last about twice as long as nichrome will. Ooh, that's purty. So like things with my Staggerton, like builds that I want to I want them to last a little bit longer, I'll use kanthal on the outside. Sometimes I use nichrome just because it's a little bit shinier and looks prettier, but it all comes down to preference, really, if you're not shooting for a target resistance.
Well, let me ask you this, because I like because example of the build that I had I wanted you to make me there a week or so ago. You already know I like low ohms. I mean, I like them low, 0.08, 0.7, maybe in that range. If I was wanting to build, let's say a quad core, just a quad core fused flap, can I use like just anything with 4 cores with a fused flap? Like, what wire sizes would I need? Not no alien, because the alien flaps and the whole thing, I'm not even know where to do it. But my first build, and I wanted to do just a 0.08 build. What could I use, wire sizes, and how many cores, and to get that result? Okay,
so you've got a lot of different options here. So if you're shooting for a 0.08, I'll give you real world examples. If you run even just parallel, right, just round wire builds, if you run two 24 gauge nichrome strands in parallel, you'll only need about 4, maybe 5 wraps to get to that 0.08, 0.1 mark. Now, if you add a third wrap, it's going to drop lower, because the more you add, it's like lanes of a highway. In the cars being the electricity, you can fit more cars going down more lanes. And if you choke it down to one lane, a lot of cars, a lot of electricity can't get through. So as you add wire, you're going to decrease the ohms. The ohms are going to drop. The resistance is less. Do you understand?
See, I was all okay. You say adding wire, but that's different from adding wraps, right?
Yes.
Okay, so adding a wrap increases the ohms, but adding, like, say, a third wire, doing like a triple parallel, would decrease the ohms.
It's like straws. If you have 2 straws, so much water can go through only. If you have 3 straws, now you're increasing it by 50%, more water can go through. Now, as far as like adding a wrap, what you're doing is you're adding length to the overall piece of rod that you need to make that coil. So it's the same, you know, if you're using a fuse Clapton, doesn't matter the gauge, but let's say 5 wraps is a 0.08. If you add a wrap, that's more distance that electricity has to travel before it hits the next post, so it takes a little bit longer.
The longer the wire, the higher the ohm.
Yeah, and that's where diameter comes into play as well, because the smaller the diameter, the less wire you're going to need to wrap it around for the same amount of wraps. So if you add, yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's why you kind of say, I'm like, how are they getting such a low ohm with like 8 wrap build? And that's got to be like for 2 to 2.5 diameter then. If they're going to that many wraps and they still get a low build, it's because they got a small diameter. Is that right? Am I thinking right?
Wait, go ahead. Do that again.
I say they have I see builds that have like a 0.1, but they got 7 wraps on that beast. I mean, I've seen them.
2 ways to do it. Yeah, either a really small diameter, or increasing the gauge of the wire, which is like making it a bigger pipe, will allow more electricity to flow.
So if I would go, and in wire, the lower the number, the bigger the wire. So if I would use 20 gauge, I don't know, does wires come that big? So people use 20 gauge?
Yeah, 20, there's 18 gauge, there's 16 gauge. So look at it like this, 32 gauge, pretty small, right? Say that's a drinking straw, and then in 20 gauge would be like a fucking 6-inch PVC pipe. So you're going to have a lot more water, electricity, go through the big piece of PVC than you can get through the little straw.
Okay. I get the theory. It's just, something that I might have to wrap my brain around and try to figure it out. And actually, I bought a bunch of wire the other night just cause.
Right.
From what was it, KB Vapes? Was that the site you sent me to?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just got a bunch of wires in there. I'll play with something eventually, and I will. My first attempt ever will be on video. So live and uncut and raw, baby.
I can't wait for that one.
Okay, so I have a question. What's a good wire, not just round wire, but what's a good wire to start working with? So, like a Clapton, fuse Clapton, something like that.
I always recommend starting with Claptons because the Claptoning technique, that technique in itself is going to extend way further than just Claptons. So from the Clapton, then you can attempt the fused Clapton with 2 cores, and then from there you can kind of either go to try to do multi-cores like a 3-core fused Clapton, or you can take that Clapton concept and do like a stapled helix where you take 2 Claptons, twist them together, and then helix in those twists. You can put more wire into those twists, but again, it's the Clapton concept. And then when you eventually graduate to aliens, you're still using that same Clapton concept. You just need to take the wrap off of the core. And then same with staggering builds. It's the same kind of concept. You're just putting spacing in there. So I always recommend starting with Claptons.
Okay.
Well, a Clapton is a single wire wrapped around another wire, right? That's just a regular Clapton.
Yes.
Okay, and a fused Clapton should be 2 of those fused together with another wire?
That would be a staggered fuse clapton. A fuse clapton is 2 pieces of round wire wrapped with a small or higher gauge wire.
I think the name probably could have. The name's confusing there because you think of one clapton and fuse clapton is just 2 put together. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah. The names are fucked. The clapton is like the most appropriate name because like a guitar string is the same as a clapton coil.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1 core wrapped. Well, some of them are like wrapped a few times, but essentially it's the same principle, same theory. But yeah, as far as the other names go, I'm just they're fucking bizarre.
Yeah, I know there's some names out there that you're like, dude, I don't know where that name came from. You shouldn't do that. It's like stupid. I've heard you say that before about some things.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rapping thing, the whole coil thing. I mean, I watch you. I mean, I just find that shit peaceful when I watch anybody making coil. I don't know why. I can sit down and watch an hour-long video, nobody talking, just a little bit of freaking light music in the background or whatever. Just watch them spinning, and I don't know why it's so freaking relaxing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the builders themselves got to feel that same way when you're doing that in your own little zone. You know, down in the dungeon by yourself, you're probably feeling the same way, right?
It depends what you're making, yeah. If you're making easy stuff, yeah, it's easy to get into the zone. But most of the more intricate stuff, it's constant focus and attention, so it's not as peaceful. It can actually be extremely frustrating.
So what'd you say you're going to put together this evening?
I'm going to start prepping some ribbon wire for all my framed and ribbon builds.
What's the advantage of ribbon wire versus round wire? Is there? Or is it just preference?
Oh god, fuck you.
Fuck you.
My ribbon's not cooperating. It's a performance thing. It's not like an either or. There's specific builds that take ribbon wire. So,
okay.
Like for your frame staples, when you use ribbon, what it does is it puts its surface area, right? The science behind coils, like you're heating up X amount of surface area that's coming in contact with the liquid, which inevitably vaporizes it, right? So when you add, 4, 5, 6, up to 10, whatever, however many pieces of ribbon into a build, like it creates all these juice channels and surface area. So when you're stacking ribbon on top of itself, that's creating a lot of like nooks and crannies and planes for that juice to kind of get trapped in. So when you heat it all up, it's like an explosive, flavorful build.
Yeah, because I got some of those, what you're talking about, they're 4-ply. What are they framed? What are they called again? Frame staples?
Yeah.
I got some of those 4-ply ribbon with a 32 gauge wrap, I think. They're good ones to hit, but they take some ramp up for sure. Take some time to ramp up, but they hit hard once they're done. Maybe that's probably because it's got what it's made out of. I think it's nichrome is what it's made out of. Maybe stainless steel, but it's still a ramp up time. It's still pretty long by comparison.
Yeah, I mean when you're adding a lot of different kinds of wire like that, and like especially if you're I use kanthal ribbon wire. Because if you use nichrome ribbon wire and you're doing like a 10-ply frame staple, it ohms to like 0.01, and it's just not, you can't even vape it because it's so low. But yeah, kanthal can ramp up pretty slow, and it also depends on your mod and your battery. A lot of the exotic builds that you see are really, really hard on batteries. That's why there's so much, we stress as builders, like, as we teach people, know your battery's limits because these types of coils are much, much more aggressive on your batteries than a standard round wire is. You have to push them so much harder to get the same effect that you're looking for.
Right. Well, now that you mention it, I remember now. It's not stainless. It is kanthal. The 4-ply is kanthal.
Yeah, stainless ohms pretty low.
Okay, so what about techniques when you're holding the wire? Is there any special technique to when you have to hold the wire itself? And do you use something like, I've heard you mention these spool tamers before. I have no idea what they are. So I guess that's another question right there too.
So a spool tamer is essentially, it's like a piece of it's like a rubber band, and it fits over your wire, and it has a hole in the middle of it, which you thread your ribbon or your wire through. Now, I haven't actually used one yet. I've only seen them done on other tutorials, but I mean, you could use that to Clapton. I recommend learning by hand first, because you're gonna need that feel. Unless you're gonna if you don't, you're gonna have to use the ribbon tamer every time, and then you're tethered to it. So if you lose it, you're fucked. If you break it, you're fucked. I would just, when you're Claptoning for the first time, it's really about the angle to make it nice and clean. You want to give yourself, hold your spool maybe 8 to 10 to 12, probably 8. Let's say 8 inches away. So if I have my core here, and this is my Clapton wire, whatever wire I'm using to Clapton, I want to hold it about here. And to begin with, start with just light tension on the spool. You don't want to grip it really, really hard, but you want to, pinch it. And as you're going, stay at about a 90-degree angle. And you can kind of play a hair back and forth to see what's going to work best for you. And it will start wrapping itself. As long as you keep the appropriate tension on the spool and keep a 90-degree angle, the wire is going to lead itself down the core. So it's really a feel thing, but generally it's a 90-degree angle with like a not light but not heavy, like just like a
in the middle.
Yeah, like you can play with it. You'll feel if you're pressing too much, it'll like really start trying to drag up on you. But I recommend
things you just got to learn from doing it, just like putting cotton in your coils. You learn how much cotton you have after a while. Yeah,
there's no like scientific like pounds per square inch pressure and stuff like that. But I recommend starting with like a 32 gauge, because the larger or the smaller gauge wire, like a 32, it's a lot easier to work with because of its size. Its size makes it a lot harder to like roll back on itself. It just keeps everything in line. It's just much easier to see and to work with when you're learning. So I definitely recommend starting with like a 32.
Okay.
But soon after, like, get yourself some 36.
Yeah, I remember saying, just to catch kind of, point out some things on chat there. I had somebody asked a little while ago. I don't remember your name, and it was back pretty far, but he asked, "What's your favorite wire that you use, Sherlock?"
It depends what I'm building and what I'm building for. I like, motherfuck you. I like nichrome and kanthal most of the time.
What about brand? Do you have a favorite brand that you like, that you find yourself buying more of?
I go through Temco Industrial for things like my high gauge wire, because I buy them like a 5,000 foot spool. It's just more cost effective for me. But for most other wire, I go through kbvapes.com. They've got really good prices, and the consistency of the wire is fantastic, except for this this ribbon that I'm working with is fucking horseshit.
What about Lightning Vapes? Do you ever order any of their stuff?
I have. They're a little overpriced, and I've had some issues with a lot of their wire. Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Lightning Vapes.
Okay.
Not that I don't like them. I've had too many issues and inconsistencies to stand behind them.
Mr. Mouse pointed out, says here's a trick he's learned for Claptoning. Like if you hold the spool far away, it gives you more room for error with its angle.
That's correct. So that actually applies. Yeah, that applies to anything. Aliens, especially. The further back you are from, with the spool from the cores, the more time the ribbon or the wire in general has to kind of correct errors for you.
That's a good tip to know, because you see a lot of these people that have their hand right there, like a half an inch from the freaking coil.
You don't want that. You don't want that. When you're further back, it makes the angles less extreme. So it just makes it a lot easier, a lot more forgiving when you're further back from the chuck. But it's kind of counterintuitive because I remember when I started, I was like right here with it. But really, it's easier getting further back.
Okay.
The fuck?
Why don't you like stainless steel?
It's not that I don't like stainless steel. It's that for most of my building career, I just never used it. I never had a reason to.
Creature of habit. You're pretty much introduced to everything.
It's
but
a habitual thing, yeah. I only had, like, before I started selling coils online, I've been selling locally for a long time now, and I've never, twice in the whole time had I ever had anybody ask me for stainless steel builds or ask me if I built with them. So there was never even like a demand for it. So I never got around to doing it.
Is Kidney Puncher worth the hype and price?
Fuck no.
Simple as that.
Very little is in this industry.
Yeah, hype sells everything. That's all it is. Hype will sell anything. And once you get it,
Jesus Christ.
You just wish you hadn't it.
Okay, so how about setup wise? What do you need to start wrapping coils right off the bat? What is everything that you'll need?
Here, I'll show you. A lot of people will say you need all this kind of crazy shit, and you don't. Let me show you. What's this? I don't even know what kind of wire this is. I think this is 24 gauge. Or 20, I don't know. Let me show you. Don't even need you don't need swivels, but they're good to have. I highly recommend swivels, but bare necessity would be a drill and wire.
I've got a drill and I've got a roll of 24 gauge nichrome 80.
Yep. Pair of flush cuts, toothless pliers. I have links in the description where you can get everything that you need. You can go to your local hardware store. Toothless pliers for sure, though. So what I would do in this instance, how did I used to do this? I forget. Before swivels.
Yeah, see, that's the way I've seen people do it. I was like, do I really need swivels to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need them. Ideally, what I would do in this circuit, I have a screwdriver through the swivel, and I'm just putting pressure between my legs so it just, spins. So it's definitely possible to do it without swivels. It's just a fucking pain in the tits.
Yeah, it looks like it is. I see the wire just kind of flopping around everywhere, and yeah.
I don't remember because for the first 6 months of me selling coils locally, I built without swivels.
Okay.
So, it's possible, but get yourself a pair of swivels, and then all you need, however you stand your drill up, if you have a cordless drill and you have it, just sat up on its battery, you just want your swivels parallel with the chuck. So you want a nice straight line.
I just want to address 12 Gaming has the correct answer, Brian. That's exactly what I think.
Of what?
I'm sure. I don't really want to address it, but
yeah, I didn't want to either because I don't know if it's real or not, and
if it is, I just let the chat deal with it. I don't know. Some guys talking about cutting himself possibly, and I don't know. I don't know if that's real or not. Brian Newman guy. You burn. I hate to be involved in something like that, and it's one of them real. I don't know. I ain't nobody trying to talk anybody out of anything. Shit.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Brian Newburn.
Listen, Brian. I don't know if you're serious or not, but here's my personal, not personal, but I mean, here's my more personal and my contact information at my website. Here's my email. If you're serious about needing some help, get a hold of me and I'll do what I can to help you. Just don't make any decisions tonight. Give yourself some time to think about things.
There you go.
But so on that note, where were we at? Oh yeah, so what you definitely need, at least one good pair of flush cuts, a pair of toothless pliers. They could be straight needle nose or bent ones, it doesn't matter. So you need some way to attach your swivels. Like I have this little mini vise here on a 2x4 stand that I built. I cut two pieces of 2x4, screwed one into the other one, and I have a table clamp, like a C-clamp, clamping it down to my table. I've seen people use a suction cup on their microwave with their swivels on that. Like, it's really about using the space that you have and figuring something out. Yeah, I mean, really, that's... well, there are some things that you need to install coils, but I'm pretty sure if you're a vapor, you have that. You know, good pair of scissors, ceramic tweezers. Man, other than that, that's really it.
Use what you have at your resources and make the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need toothless pliers, but they just help.
But I will say, because, you know, that when you see all these people that actually, they do these tutorials for beginner coil baiters, how-tos, and makes this stuff, and when you see they have all these tools to help them, you know, someone who just has no clue thinking, I got to go out and buy all this shit before I can even try to make a coil. So that's good information to know. Like, and you don't have to have this stuff. It just makes it a lot easier. But here's how you can do it with bare knuckles.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So you don't hear that though.
There
You're
are
thinking,
some
well, I got to
things,
spend all this money.
Yeah, there are some things that you definitely want to get, like, the best that you can find. Like, the swivels are one major thing. I hear all the time guys DM me and they're like, what's going on with my swivels? And they buy, like, normal fishing swivels. And you need ball bearing swivels. And even then, there's a lot of shitty ones. And I've gone through hundreds, I wouldn't say hundreds, but I've gone through a real lot of brands trying to find swivels that worked really well for me.
What's funny is when I first started thinking about this a couple months ago, I bought a bunch of swivels. I forget where I bought them from, what site. Might have been Amazon, but I bought like a pack of 100. I was thinking, these will work.
Of course you did.
Put three or four of them together. What are we trying to say? But they were like 100 for less than $10. So I pretty much knew they wasn't industrial kind of swivels, and they were probably just fishing swivels when I got them. And which they truly are. So I'm thinking, can I use these things? And I wonder if I can or not. Then watching your videos, I learned to find out I can't use those. So
they need to be
small.
ball bearing. If they're not ball bearing, they're gonna jam up almost instantly on you. Because I mean, a normal drill is anywhere between what 1,000 and 5,000 RPM.
I guess for a good one, yeah. I got a $20 drill.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so no, mine was $20 too, and it goes 3,000 or 5,000 RPMs.
Does mine go that high? I don't know. It's a Black
But
&
it's
Decker
corded.
thing I got.
A cordless isn't going to go as high. But so
Oh yeah, mine is 2 quarters.
if you're even going low speed, say you're going 500 revolutions a minute, and it takes you 10 minutes to make a coil, that's a lot of fucking spins on those swivels. So you want something that's going to last, a good stainless steel, well-built, quality swivel. And I went through a lot of money trying to save money to find, you know, swivels, but I eventually found a really good brand. I actually have the exact swivels that I use on my website right now. If you want to pick some up, you can pick them up there.
I'll tell you what, guys, if you haven't been to the SherlockHolmes.com website at all or recently or whatever, just from us talking, there's some exciting things happening to that place coming up. Y'all might want to go get in there and wait and do the first. There's some exciting things getting ready to happen on that site. You need to go check that shit out. Bookmark that bitch. Check back every day.
Down underneath Big Country, there's a 10% off your whole order code. Speaking of exciting things, we've got two big exciting things going on. Now, Country already tapped on one of them. We're trying to get him to 500 subscribers by July 12th, and we're really, really, really close. So definitely check out his channel. Again, the link's in the description. And the other big thing we have going on is Gentleman's E-Liquid. Isaiah has a giveaway that he just started, and he's trying to reach 250 subscribers. So I'll let Isaiah tell you about that giveaway.
Yeah, so this is a giveaway that is going to be going through Country. He will be sending you the stuff, but it is a Captain PD270, and basically you have to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I think what are the rules? I forgot.
So go ahead and put the link in the chat so they can click it.
I'll go ahead and throw the link in the chat so you guys can check it out, and all the rules are there. Everything is there, and all you need to do is just go there and you can get into. Oh, I think I put the wrong chat in there, or the wrong link in there.
I'll tell you what, I don't think so. Yes, you did. You put my what? Why did you put my link in there?
I don't know. There's the right link. The second link is the right one. Sorry, guys, but yeah.
Delete that. I can't delete it. Won't let me.
Yeah, I'll delete that one. There we go. So that link right there is the giveaway if you guys want to participate. It's going to go on until I hit 250 subscribers, and then we will pick a winner.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Great time to any DIYers out there want to do recipes or whatever, man. Yeah, you need to check his stuff out. He's really good at because of his flavor combinations and creativities of his recipes. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually getting into mixing personally. Like, I'm not going to incorporate it into my channel, but Country and Isaiah are the two guys I'm going to right now. They're going to be teaching me the ropes. So if that's what you're into, definitely check out Isaiah's channel. He's got some really good stuff on there.
All right, so we got 1 minute and 47 on the call. So shall we restart it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and restart it, guys. We're going on the cheap Zoom plan here, the free one, so we need to restart the call. I'm going to throw you guys on the slideshow, and we'll be back in just a minute to continue the shenanigans. And we're back. That went smooth.
So we got a guy here, 610 Cheryl, or we got a lady here. My bad. I've been practicing aliens for about 2 weeks now, and sometimes I get it, but the problem I keep having is the alien wrap keeps backing up on itself. What am I doing wrong?
You're not leaning far enough toward the swivel. I know it's like counterintuitive, but with aliens you need to lean forward toward the swivel. So if you stay at an exact 90-degree angle with the shape of that alien wrap, it's going to naturally wrap back on top of itself. So you have to lean forward. Lean more forward than you're comfortable with, because it's better to have space in it than it is to back up on itself. It's going to look cleaner, and you can get away with some spacing and keep going. You know, if like you'd be more comfortable displaying alien that has spacing than an alien that has, like, you know, bunched up alien wrap. So just lean forward more, and you should be able to get it by doing that.
So by holding it parallel or straight across, it'll be a 90-degree angle. So hold it about 95 to 100 maybe?
Yeah, if that. Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, it depends on how thick your cores are. The fatter, the wider that your cores are, the less you actually have to lean. But if you're just doing like a 3-core alien Clapton or a dual-core alien Clapton, then yeah, just about 100 or more. Like lean forward just a little bit further.
Okay.
You'll get the hang of it though when you start playing with it. You'll understand.
He's like in all caps. I'm a guy. It's my mom's YouTube account that we share. It's all good though. Sorry, Cheryl. But Vaporholic Anonymous asks, how come the coupon says it's expired? I'm assuming he means on your website.
Yeah. Let me. This fucking ribbon wire, man. I'm singing praises about KB wire, and the fucking whole spool is all janky. All right, let me check here real quick.
Yeah, your Chrome crashed. Welcome back there, Mr. Miles.
Man, welcome back.
And Cheryl says he is using a triple 26-gauge core. I guess it really wouldn't matter what the core is on the alien wrap as long as you are leaning. You got that slight forward lean on the wrap. You should be fine.
Yeah, that's the case.
Yeah, and Hicks Vapes asks us, what's that?
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, that coupon actually expired today, so I just extended it for a week for the purposes of, because I advertised it.
All right, there you go, Vaporholics. The coupon code is now active, dog.
Active coupon code.
Spend some money, homie.
Buy some good coils.
Yeah.
Charms, the necklaces, earrings,
Charms, pendants.
KB wire is great, but the ribbon sucks.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to have to do now? I'm going to have to cut each piece and then stretch it because the fucking...
So what's the problem you're having? Is it not rolled up flat and it's all twisted? You got to straighten it out first?
Well, that's all what you always have to straighten your ribbon. But the issue that I'm having is normally when they spool the ribbon, it's spooled tight. Okay. So I can straighten it while it's on the spool. All I have to do is pull.
Right.
And because it's tight, it's not going to damage the wire underneath. But this is all really loose, so as I pull, it's like wedging itself down inside the other pieces of ribbon, and it's fucking up that piece and everything underneath it. So now I have to fucking cut it off and then go back with 2 pairs of pliers and straighten each piece like that.
Basically just double on the freaking time that you should be doing right now.
Because it's always something.
Coil Society has been the best spooled ribbon wire I've ever used. The best spooled wire, period. You know anything about Coil Society?
I've never tried them.
I haven't either. I've never even heard of that name. Vegas. Pure Atoms has the best ribbon that I've used. It comes spoiled perfect. Pure. P-U-R. Pure. Oh, okay. He corrected himself. Pure Atomist.
Yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them either. There's some name. I mean, unless it's Lightning Vapes or Vape KB or that's it. That's the 2 wire companies I know. So that's all I've heard of.
Yeah, man, I get my wire off of Amazon when I'm wrapping just regular coils.
Dude, I'm an Amazon hoe, but if I'm gonna go all in, I go all in. You heard?
Don't ever buy wire from Amazon or eBay.
Why is that?
It's so much more expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you go direct through the company, it's so much cheaper. Especially with like Lightning Vapes or Master of Clouds, you'll pay $7 for like a 100-foot spool, where on like KB, for instance, for kanthal, you get 3 100-foot spools for $10.
Oh wow, that is a lot cheaper.
Pretty sure I got like 4 a day. Let me go to their website because I bought a bunch of wire. Well, I say a bunch. I guess it's a bunch for me. What is it? KBEE?
I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not getting paid to say that either. That's their wire is the wire that I like to use.
It comes down to the rule, man. You rep what you love what you rep. That's just what it is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they got these multi-packs going on over there, which I bought 1 of each. I bought a kanthal wire bundle. I bought a nichrome 80 bundle. I bought a stainless steel 316L. But oh, there's a question. 316L and 304 stainless steel. I know you don't deal with stainless steel a lot, but you got to have the knowledge of what the difference is between the 2.
I don't.
Oh, shit. Okay, Mr. Miles, talk to me, homie.
It's got to be like nichrome, like different variations of the material.
Maybe. But see, they got these bundles right now. Let me talk. They got these bundles for stainless steel right now. The 316L bundles. They got you can get 4-piece, 400-foot spools for $10. 300-foot spools. Of course, different gauges. You can go anywhere from $10 to $24, depending on what you get for the stainless steel. Nichrome 80 packs are anywhere from $17 to $30, depending on how many pieces and what gauge and all that stuff you want. And same thing with the kanthal, same way. So I went and got 3 of the bundles. I got one of each: one kanthal, one nichrome 80, and one stainless steel. And I paid like $40 total. I think it was free shipping too, actually.
There you go.
So, well, was it that? It was a code KB something, wasn't it?
It's just KB, and you get like 15 to 18% off.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's how I save money. I don't remember shipping, but yeah, I mean, check them out. That's what I got. I haven't used them yet.
I'll have to pick up some wire from them next time I do an order.
Different grades of stainless steel. They all work well from what I've used. Okay. Our Aaron says the same thing. 316L and 304 are just different grades. Both work brilliantly. 30, 40 gauge spools. As you know. Yeah,
I'm assuming the resistance.
316L is medical grade. Oh.
Is that true?
That's what Mr. Miles says, and
I believe Mr. Miles.
Or was it food grade? One of those two, food or medical. One of those two. Okay, sweet. Instead of holding the wire on a 90-degree angle like fuse claptons, I want to hold it on a 25-degree. I want to hold it on a 25-degree angle forward. Yeah, no, 90 would be like a hard angle. You would want to go a little bit more to your left, to like a 95-degree. So if you're spinning from right to left and you hold the spool straight from where the ribbon is, lean forward, lean to your left just a smidge bit.
About an inch.
That will give you that lean.
If you're here at a right angle, you're going to lean about an inch forward toward the swivel.
Mm-hmm.
So if your wire's contacting, say in the beginning, your alien wrap is starting right at the chuck, you're going to want to be lined up directly with the chuck would be 90 degrees. You want to be about an inch forward at all time. And if you're still backing up on yourself, go a little bit closer to the swivel. Just always lean toward your swivel, away from your drill.
I guess it's a better way to say it than right and left. It depends on which way you're spinning, left or right. Yeah. So towards
that
the swivel.
And angles. People have trouble with angles.
Yeah, that's why he's a pro. He's got a really good way of breaking. That's why I like his videos, man. He's got a really good way of breaking things down to where it's easy to understand.
Yeah,
and he's patient about it. And I don't have very little patience. Oh, I mean, I have very little patience. Put it that way. I don't have patience, man.
Well, I believe, like you, country, educate, not humiliate.
Yeah, and I try to do the best that I can. But when it comes to, I mean, I agree. I mean, I live that. And I push that. I do think it's what we got to do in this industry. But there's some things that I guess that are just not for me to try to help. I'm not the best person to ask some questions to, just because I don't have the knowledge or the ability to tell you. And I feel bad for having to say something. Say it that way. I just refer you to somebody else that you get a better answer from. You know.
Oh yeah, some people are better delivering information than others.
Yeah.
And different topics. The topic definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and when it comes to the wire building, I'm just new, and I'm still fairly new to the mixing part, but I think I've got a good grasp on it right now. So I'm learning more every day, and I learn different flavors from talking to Isaiah quite often. And when it comes to the coil and the wire part, I talk to Kenny, and I ask my questions like I've been doing tonight. I've asked him this many questions, before. So we just decided to do a show about it tonight. Why not? Live noob questions. He don't like using noob. He don't want to disrespect nobody by saying noob. He uses the word beginner. He's a nice guy like that.
Well, me and Larry are just noobs. It's just fact.
Yeah, we'll call ourselves noobs even if he won't use the term. So how many pieces of ribbon you got to pull out for this thing you're prepping for?
250 feet.
So you're doing about a foot per, so 25.
No, about 20 inches per.
You know, about 20 inches per hole. So 20 inches, that's going to be your core wire, though. So, damn, that's. I'm sitting here watching now that the numbers are in my head. I'm like, dude, he's got a big old stack of wire right there pulled out. Now he's got to go back after he cuts them all out, and he's probably not even halfway done yet.
No.
You're going to have to cut them all out and then go back and stretch each individual one after he straightens them.
Well, I kind of gave up on that because that's too much. I have about 20 pieces that I'm going to have to stretch after I do this, but I'm just going to fucking make it work. For somebody who's new, though, like, don't skip on this step. Make sure all your ribbon is perfect, but I can kind of make it work because I've been doing it for so long. Like, my wire has little fuck-ups in it, but it's going to make my life more difficult in the long run, but I don't have the patience to sit here and stretch it all after I cut it.
Okay, so here's a question. What is one of the best coils? I mean, I know this is kind of a subjective question, but what's one of the better coils for flavor out there? You know, like aliens or framed staples, or you know, there's a ton of them out there. But
both of those, yeah. See, there's different variations that'll be better for flavor as well. Like, you can take a standard fused Clapton, which is, you know, pretty good on flavor, and you can add 40 gauge to it, and that makes it even better on flavor. You can take 36 gauge Alien Clapton and add 38 to it, make it better. Alien in general is better on flavor.
Before we go too far on this particular coil here, you said, like, say, if you used a 36 gauge on a fused Clapton, it would have great flavor, but if you used a 40 gauge, it had even better flavor. Why is that?
The 40 gauge is a thinner wire, so you're going to end up having more of it on your finished core. And this comes down, I use the sponge example. If you have like if you know what Brillo is, right? Brillo is, yeah, it's like thick metal into a sponge. If you run that under the hose or the faucet, stop it, it's only going to hold so much water because of how big the wire is. But if you have a sponge, like an actual sponge that's made up of a bunch of tiny fibers, it holds a shitload more water. And the same principle applies when you're using a really fine gauge wire. Because of how much there is and the shape, it just holds so much more liquid. And again, the more liquid retention, the more crevices, and like it just holds liquid. So when you press that button or that switch, it just explodes so much more flavor out of it than if you're going to wrap something with 34, 32 gauge.
There you go. That makes sense. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
But Mr. Bees Wheezy did a donation of $2.
Ah, Bees Wheezy, thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate that.
Did leave a message. What's that called? A super chat?
Yeah, super chat.
Yeah, buddy.
Aliens are awesome for flavor. Yeah, I got a bunch of different styles of aliens from different people. I got a good coil builder in the UK. He's really good, and of course I got some Sherlock coils. I've been fortunate in my short time of vaping on Instagram and YouTube. People have reached out to me a couple times, say, "Hey, try some of my coils," which I have, and I've been fortunate enough to try some more intricate coils so early in my vaping life. And I can definitely taste the difference between just a regular old round wire, a single piece of wire versus 7 wrap, 24 gauge versus just a standard piece of Clapton. You know, you can definitely tell. Now what I got here, we got Elite right here. This is the new Elite mech. I have the stitched Alien frame staples from Kenny, from Mr. Sherlock Holmes himself in there, and I also have a competition wrap in my other V-God here, in my Goon 1.5, also made for Mr. Sherlock Holmes. A competition, what are we calling this? It was a country special?
Yeah, I mean, essentially it's a competition Alien Clapton.
Okay, a competition Alien Clapton, because I told him the other night, I was like, yo, man, here's what I want. What do you suggest? Do us together, and voila. Now it's in my Goon.
It's nichrome 90.
Oh, yeah, the nichrome 90. Let me show you. If you don't follow me on Instagram, wait till you see this shit. Wait till you see how fast and hard this monster will bite you.
Yeah.
Will bite you, man. I love it.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, and I was just watching them fire, and I was like, "Oh my, that is scary."
Yeah, so I do custom orders through the website. All you have to do is contact me via email, and we can put something together.
I need a fresh battery, because that battery ain't gonna do it no justice right now.
So here's another question, Kenny. How cost efficient is building your own coils? If you're doing it on a personal level, maybe not so much on like a selling it level, just on a personal level.
It's extremely cost efficient, especially if you're going to do, like, if you learn to build and you switch from a sub-ohm tank to an RTA, that's what, $4 or $5 per coil once or twice a week. If you're vaping it pretty hard on a sub-ohm tank, you learn to build your own coils. You can just literally buy a pack of 24 gauge nichrome and make single wire builds, and you buy a thing of cotton for a few dollars, you're set. So in that aspect, it can be really, really cost efficient. You get into the hobbyist side of it and you're buying a ton of different wire to do a ton of different intricate builds. It's a little bit pricier, but still, as opposed to like buying your own exotic coils, it's extremely cost effective.
Okay.
Did y'all see how quick that fucker just hits? And just like, watch the push. Pull. 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 It's like, I mean, it's fucking monster.
What do you have
bite
that
you
in?
the mouth. Huh?
What RDA did you put that in?
The Goon 1.5.
There you go.
Right on top of the V-God Pro Mech.
Yeah, man, I'm rocking a Goon too.
The first concept I did for that competition, I did a 3-core 25 gauge nichrome 90 alien, and I just think it would ohm way too low.
Well, I'll tell you, because you gave this to me in a 7. You sent this to me in a 7 wrap, and before I even tested it, I immediately took 2 wraps out of it. Because it's just because what I know. I completely forgot you were using nichrome 90, which is new, and you talked about how it heats faster and all that stuff. And if I remembered that, I wouldn't have done that. Initially, I took 1 out, but not 2. So when I put it in my RDA at 5 wraps and put it on the Captain mod, it read at 0.04, so it wouldn't even fire because the Captain only goes down to 0.05. So I had to work the coil in my mech, which I don't like to do. I like going on regulated. Because the battery gets hot and all that shit, especially that low ohms. But after finishing working it, at a cold state now, it's a 0.07, and it goes up to like 0.09 while it gets hot. That 0.07, 0.09 is where it's at now on 5 wraps after it's worked.
Yeah, and
So
I don't ever recommend building or using anything that low unless you're, an expert, seasoned vapor who knows how to safely operate at that ohm limit. So if you're a beginner builder, definitely don't build lower than 0.01, or I'm sorry, 0.10.
Yeah, I mean, people still today, when I talk about the 0.07 builds or whatever, sometimes on my videos, they're like, dude, they comment, that's way too low for a Mac. I mean, I understand before I even went Mech, I watched a shit ton and read a shit ton of information on battery safety, ohms laws, and all that shit. I mean, I watched a gazillion. When I first got this, if you look at my review video, when I first got this, I said I was kind of scared to use this damn thing because all you hear is the dangers and shit exploding, and it just kind of the only reason shit explodes is because of being stupid. And I try not to be stupid no more than I have to be stupid. So I learned a lot. I watched a lot, and I was educated myself. And once I used it and I got more comfortable with it, I kind of know the range. I know 0.06 was way too hard because that battery got fucking hot quick, and I had to set it down 4 or 5 times before I was finished working the coil because it was getting really hot. And I was like, let's just set it down. But you just got to use your brains, man. Just like know this: any battery, whether it's a AAA, AA, quadruple car battery, 18650, whatever, any battery in the world, once it gets hot, what's it going to do? It's going to explode, no matter whether it's in your freaking mech mod or in your car, no matter where it's at. You just got to know when to put it down. Let it cool.
That's not entirely accurate, though.
What is it?
The reason batteries explode and the reason any of that is even on the news in the first place is because of correct me if I'm wrong, I've made this statement before and nobody's corrected me, and I've done my research on this. There actually have been no cases that I'm aware of a device exploding because somebody built too low. That's not to say it can't happen, but there are no cases of it. The cases that we know of any kind of device exploding or mech exploding was due to the battery not being taken care of. There were scratches in the wrap. What causes a battery to explode is a short, which causes a thermal runaway. When positive makes contact with negative, that's what makes a battery explode. I'm sure you could push a battery so hard at such a low ohm that you inevitably make it explode, but you wouldn't be able to hold the mod for long enough to make it happen.
Well, I'm not necessarily talking about the ohm making it explode, just the heat of a battery. Granted, the shorts, that's a given. If anything shorts out, we call it a wrap or whatever. But you can feel that on mech when it's getting warm.
Yeah.
And you can actually feel it if you're still being an idiot and still puffing on that thing and it's getting hot to the touch. That right there, you already know it's just too hot. So put the damn thing down, walk away. Don't keep trying to use it because it's just like any other battery. It's going to get hot, and any battery that gets hot is going to explode.
Right.
It's
From what I've heard is when the battery gets too hot, it causes venting rather than thermal runaway. I don't know if that's correct or not, but instead of it exploding, what happens is it vents and it shoots out noxious gas.
But when you're in a tube mod that doesn't have airflow for it to escape, it builds pressure, and pressure in a solid tube is going to be a pipe bomb.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's why V-God did good on this. They got all these venting holes. The only one thing I do not like about the new one is there is no vent holes. That's a safety feature that was removed for some reason on the new design, but I'll go over that later. But you're right when it comes to the whatever you call the venting. Batteries do vent. They try to escape from their outer casing to prevent the explosion because it's like a pressure ring, I guess, around the top positive end. It's after so much pressure built up, it will start to release, but once it releases in a tube and it has nowhere to go.
So the moral of the story is, if you're being smart and you know your battery's limits and you take care of your battery's wrap and don't push it, there's really nothing to worry about. They're as safe as a AA battery as long as you take care of them.
Exactly. Yeah, you just got to know when to not do, what not to do.
Like
and
the other night when I was building with that 18 gauge Mad Rabbit wire and the shit was getting so hot I couldn't fire it. I was like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna keep going with that. I was you and I were chatting, weren't we, Country?
Yeah. Your buddy came in too.
Yeah.
He's like, that's perfect for me. He was like, you vape it.
He's a fucking madman.
You're right. But yeah, you're right. We all have a brain. We have the sense of touch and the sense of feel. If you're pushing for a button for less than a half a second, that some bitch is extremely warm when you know it shouldn't be. Don't hit that button again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just common sense. It's what you would think would be common sense anyway.
Yeah, and rewrapping your battery wraps too is something that's so easy to do. It's dead simple. You just need the wraps and a heat gun or even a hair dryer. I use a hair dryer and it works perfectly fine. Just hold it away.
Yeah.
Don't hold it right up to it. Just hold it away enough to where it will shrink the wrap.
Yeah. And any shop worth of shit will either do it for you for free or for 50 cents a battery.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking into that right now, vape heads.
Looking at what? What are we looking at?
You may be true on that, vape, because he said the heat will. Where's it at? Vape heads. It's supposed to vent around the switch on the new V-God Mech. So I took the switch off and I blew through it, and it's got tremendous airflow or opening through the thing. So which makes me think, which I haven't read the paperwork on this thing yet. I just it out of the box, which I know, shame on country. Read the manual. This is probably designed for positive side down then, so when it does vent, it will go out the button. So now you saw me, I switched the positive to where it's down on the button, and I fired it, and I think you're right. I'm sure you're right, actually. So thank you.
Wait, I missed that whole exchange.
Because it does fire just fine with when I reversed it. Because there's no point in having a bottom escape unless you reverse the battery to where positive down. So otherwise, what's the point? Because it's so snug in there with the safety insulator, then there wouldn't be no place for the gas to explode. So this is probably designed to have positive down. But even if it's not designed to go positive down, it still works positive down. So that's good. That's good. Thank you, Mr. Vape Heads.
Community is always the best amount of knowledge that you can get.
Absolutely. I mean, I love the feedback of the community talk, and when I talk on Instagram or even on YouTube, the community is great. The vaping community is awesome. Everybody's so supportive, man.
Yeah.
And if you don't know something, someone will be quick to say, "Hey, man, here's what you should know about it." The information sharing is amazing in this community. I fucking love it.
Just always, consider the source of the information and always double check. As with any information you get in your life, fact check it.
That is so true as well. I mean, I haven't even looked at the case. I usually just pull shit out and figure it out. What's this do? What's that do?
Yeah. Aaron pointed out a really good point. He said to keep the insulator around and put it back in the battery when you rewrap it. That is
always
something.
Always.
Yes. Never get rid of that. Always keep it.
Say that again?
The insulator, the white part around.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that today. Where can I buy those damn things? What are they called? Are they called insulators?
It's an insulator. I've never been able to find them anywhere.
Because I got a whole 300 kit of rewrapped battery kit the other day, and I even bought a heat gun just for my battery wrapping. And I rewrapped all my batteries except a couple of them that were in use. But I've noticed if I don't keep this damn little ring off of all of them, how do I replace it? Where can I find those?
I don't know. But if you don't have that ring, you cannot use that battery.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was looking at this battery here, and I kind of came a little shortcoming on the wrap. It's holding, but I'm going to have to rewrap this one just because it's just not enough around the top part of it. But I mean, it's good, but I can see where it's going to wear off. So I just need to rewrap that one.
Hilly Day 22 said buy extra insulators. I bought like 20 of them for $2. Where did you get those? I'm curious.
Where'd you get them? I know you can't put a link, but tell us the website. There's some companies in the UK which sell the replacement insulator rings. The one that's called Fogstar.
Okay, I've heard of Fogstar, but
I don't know if I have or not. They have them on FastTech.
So
well, I'm sponsored by FastTech. Oh, IMRbatteries.com. Aaron puts in. I don't have FastTech. Send me a bunch of them. Can I have 1,000 of these, please?
You can get them off eBay as well.
Yeah, these are called the
1860
flat top battery terminal insulators. 20 pieces for $1.50. What? I know they can't be expensive because they're really freaking just a piece of circle plastic, but you probably pay for shipping more than that one cost is $1.50. I'd buy 4 of them just to make it even $8. So I felt better about paying $7 shipping. It's probably what it would cost.
What site did you find it on?
That was linked. It is
IMRbatteries.com.
Oh yeah, that's a great site to get batteries regardless.
I'm gonna check out their batteries here.
Yeah, they're authentic. They have good prices.
18650. They have. Hey, what have you heard about these new Ohm Life coils batteries?
I haven't heard anything about them.
3,077 mAh.
What?
3,077 mAh.
You mean 30? Oh.
Yeah, 3,077.
Okay.
It's a weird.
20 amp continuous, 20.7 amp continuous, 36 amp pulse. These are just as good, if not just a tad better than the LG HG2s.
any new coil that comes out, I don't even touch, or not coil, battery that comes out, I don't even touch it until Mooch does a test on it.
I think he has, but I've seen these like reviewers use these things here lately too. I've seen a couple videos of them, but
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know a ton about batteries. You know, I mean, I know enough to get by, and I know battery safety and that, and, you know, my amperage limits and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the actual innards of the battery and everything and how it works, I leave that up to Mooch because he's the guy to go to for that stuff.
yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I've been using the same kind of batteries for 2 years.
Yeah, I've stuck to HG2s.
I mean, I got HT2s and I got 25Rs. What do you use, Kenny?
25 Rs and 1500 milliamp hour LGs
Yeah,
for my
I
Mac.
got-
Country,
Yeah.
you would love some Aspires that Colin uses for his Macs. They're the hardest hitting fucking batteries that I've ever experienced in my life.
What are they? Talk to me.
They're Aspire. They're expensive. His shop charges $17 a battery.
They're 18650.
You know, you
Yeah.
wouldn't believe what my local shops charge for batteries. They put about, I think it's $20 on an HG2.
What?
Yep. All the
For
shops
one?
around here do it.
For one HT2.
Yep. That's what I went in there and I bought my mech and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna need an extra battery, and I bought it and I looked at the receipt. It was $20. I was like, I'm not fucking buying here again. Holy shit! I'll just buy my shit offline because, like, I mean, their batteries are just outrageously priced.
That's absurd. Like, all right, make your money. I respect the hustle, but come on.
I know, and new vapors don't know that, and they're gonna go in there and they're gonna buy like maybe an RX 200 or maybe the 300, and that's 3 or 4 batteries right there, and they're just going to be dropping, you know, a shitload of money when they could save so much if they just bought them somewhere else.
So this is a 40 amp pulse, 1800 mile battery. What's he get, maybe?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the Aspire.
Let's get like four freaking puffs off it before he's got to replace the battery.
No, yeah, well, yeah, like my 1500s die real fast, but they're a fucking power horse too. Those are what I use on my Mac. But yeah, those Aspires are fucking nasty.
But your buddy competes too, don't he?
Yeah, those are his comp batteries. He only uses them when he competes.
I'm trying to look for a shop for this place. Is there? Hey, you got wholesale to
them? Yeah. Yeah, let me talk to him. I'll ship them to you.
Yeah, let's see what they're all about. I'm trying to find. Hold up! I got wholesale to this company right here, Vapor Beast. Holy, hang on, let me sign in. That's a $20 freaking stock. Let me go into a portal here. Hang on, I'll see what they cost then.
All right, we got 5 minutes on the call, boys.
Okay. Back to here. $12.50 wholesale. Yeah, I can get some of those.
Yeah, they're an expensive battery, like right off the rip.
Oh, that's a 2-pack too. That's a 2-pack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So $10 a piece for retail. A 2-pack is $20. 2-packs at $12.50. So
let me know before you order those. I might send you some PayPal money.
Okay. Yeah, I'll order a couple sets of these next week because I want to order some new LGs as well. I usually get like an 8-pack from when I buy batteries from Lightning Vapes because it's such a great deal for the 8-pack, but they don't sell the HDD2s no more. So you gotta worry about it. So Sherlock Holmes.
Yes,
sir. Go ahead.
Is a stitched alien worth the extra work?
No.
There you go.
No.
Simple answer.
They just look fucking cool. They're a fucking pain in the tits, man, because that's the coil that I sent you, Country. The stitched.
The one you said.
What you
I'll
do
tell you what.
is when you take your Clapton off the core before you stretch out your alien, you feed a smaller gauge. So if you have a 36 gauge Clapton, you take it off and you feed like a 40 gauge through it for like 10 feet. So when you stretch it out, it's the same length. And then so when you alien wrap it, you're wrapping a Clapton in an alien. at the same time, which makes the stitching. It's a pain in the tits because the smaller gauge always wants to get caught up and crimped and stuff as you're wrapping it. It's such a pain in the balls.
Well, see, there's a little bit of ramp up time on this. You can tell I hit the button about a second and a half, it starts firing. But once it starts firing, look at that son of a gun.
Well, yeah, that's
It's
just the
pretty good.
frame staple part of it.
So Aaron asks, any recommendations on a large RDA 28 to 30 millimeters? My Goon 1.5 looks tiny on my new box mod I've built. I would say the Mason, probably. Mason's 30 millimeters.
Everybody seems to mention the Mason first off when they talk about 30 mils. I have the Mason. I don't like the Mason. I don't like the mouthpiece. I don't like it at all. Mouthpiece just, to me, just sucks. If there was one time it was available on eBay for a wide bore mouthpiece for the Mason, but it's no longer available. If there was just something else other than, because the tank comes up and it goes over to the side, but then the mouthpiece is just right up. It's just like too sharp of edges, man. It irritates my lips.
So that's subjective, 100%.
Yeah, I guess it is. Damn it. But you know what I say? Hey, my thoughts are fact, dude. Yeah, it is a subjective problem, but for me, I just need another mouthpiece. But the Mason, hey, that's what I pay for it. I got wholesale of that company too, so I can't talk about that.
All right, we should probably restart the call here.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm going to wrap it up because I need to get some sleep.
Focus. Yeah, okay.
All right, man.
You got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, so let's do this. We got 5 minutes, so definitely go check out Gentleman's E-Liquid. That's Isaiah's channel. Country Living, that's Larry's channel. I got the we're all in different places on each other's screens, so it's like the links are in the description. You guys can post your own thing. You're both moderators, so you can post your links in the box. I want to say thank you so much to my patrons. We're going to figure out that giveaway. I know it's crazy trying to get everyone together at once, but we will figure it out somehow. I have everything together and ready to go. Thank you everybody for watching, taking part, asking questions, watching the replay, all of it. You guys are absolutely awesome. 10% off on the website right now, SherlockHolmes.com. Find me on Instagram at SherlockHolmes. I got rid of the underscore. Finally.
Yes.
Fucking.
It's because I was in the call with you, man.
That's right.
Luck, dog.
That's right. So that's fucking awesome. But yeah, so you guys want to say anything before we go?
Hey, just thank you for having us on, man. Appreciate the little university of coil building. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Everybody in chat.
CBU,
awesome.
Coil Building University. Thank you for that.
There you go, right there. New series.
Yeah.
Soon.
Fucking A, man. I get all my good ideas from you.
Hey, I got you, dog. I got your back, homie. Pennsylvania, West Virginia, we close, man. Neighbors. Backyard brawl.
Backyard brawl. All right, let me cut this wire. I didn't even get through the whole fucking thing. Oh, and I lost him. That's why I need to control the fucking thing. Alright, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. Hi, so that Zoom got fucked up, but alright, so thank you guys, everybody, so much. Thank you for Isaiah and Country Living for stopping by. As always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I do my absolute best to get back to everyone. So thanks so much, everybody, and I will catch you in the next one.